Alrighty, so it's a little bit late. In fact, at the time of this recording, we still got less than an hour before the first game of Leeds Cup is going to happen between Inter Miami and Cruz Azul. But still, I'm going to do a late prediction in terms of where I think every team is going to finish in the group stage. And as always, this is just my opinion and my prediction that I'm going to make. If you disagree with my prediction, you can always let me know in the comments below, and I'll probably repeat the same thing at the end of the video. But with that being said, let us actually begin. And we start off with Group A, and this is the group that we have Tigres, Portland Timbers, and the San Jose Earthquakes. And I'm actually going to write down all the team at once. So I'm going to say Tigres is going to finish first, Portland Timbers second, and unfortunately, I'm going to pick my Quakes team finish in third position. Now, obviously, I know that I've heard some rumbling about how Tigres isn't as good as what some people might think. I mean, they've said that they didn't really had a good regular season last year, and there may be some turmoil oil in the roster. But at the end of the day, I truly don't believe that is the case. I think that maybe it's kind of like a false kind of belief, the fact that Tigres is beatable, because I really think Tigres is definitely considered one of the favorites in this tournament. I mean, last year I think they won the Clausura, and this is a team that I think whenever you mention Tigres, when you have MLS team face against them, it always put fears in MLS team, because this has been just an MLS killer whenever MLS team face against Tigres in the CONCACAF Champions League, and I feel like this is going to be the same case in this Leeds Cup. Now, because of that, me predicting Tigres is going to finish first, and I think they're going to win both of their group stage game. Now it really depends on who's going to finish second, and I think whoever finished second will really depend in that all MLS matchup between the Timbers and the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, keep in mind, of the team that I'm going to predict to finish first, that is Liga MX team, and this is for most group. I know there's some group there's only one MLS team and two Liga MX team. And when I pick the Liga MX team to finish first, I will always mention the fact that this could really determine in that all MLS matchup. And in this all MLS matchup in Group A, we have the Portland Timbers taking on the San Jose Earthquakes, and I just picked the Timbers to beat the Quakes in this one. And the reason why that is the case is, even though I know the Quakes have had a better season than the Timbers had, one of the things that I've said before with the Quakes, whenever they play against the Timbers on the road, they can't beat them. Like they just simply can't beat them. Providence Park is literally a house of horror for the Quakes. It doesn't matter if the Timbers are good or not. Quakes always find ways to lose games, or if they're lucky, able to get a draw at Providence Park. They just have the Quakes number. I mean, I think to this day they still have yet to win a single game in all competition against the Portland Timbers on the road, and I just don't think this is going to happen again, because I feel like the Timbers may have figured it out after that game against the Columbus Crew. And not to mention, this is a Quakes team that I mentioned they have not done well this season on the road. This is not a good road team. So yeah, because of that, and they do lose that one, the pressure is going to be in that final game against Tigres, and I just don't see how the Quakes are going to be able to beat Tigres. Like it would take something of a miracle for them to do so. So I think they're going to finish in third place. Then we go to Group B, and this is a group that features Monterrey, Rayados, RSL, and the Seattle Sounders. And talk about group of death. This is definitely one of those, because all three of these teams are considered to be very good team. But in the end, I'm going to say Rayados is going to finish first, RSL is going to finish second, and I'm going to pick Seattle to finish in third place. And that's going to upset a lot of Sounders fans, because they're going to make the argument, well, the Sounders is always a team under Brian Schmitz that does well in tournament. And it is true. I mean, this is a Sounders team that, there's a reason why they're the only MLS team to win the CONCACAF Champions League. They've always been in this position, and they always tend to do well. But my concern with the Sounders right now is they have not been in a good form right now, and goal scoring has been a problem for this team. And when you face of the likes of Rayados and RSL, and by the way, Rayados, I think them alongside with Tigres is definitely going to consider one of the favorites on winning the tournament, because you talk about a team that has been an MLS killer at Liga MX. Rayados is definitely one of those teams. They have been able to beat a lot of MLS team in the CONCACAF Champions League, and I think they're going to finish in first place. But then in second, I think RSL will have the better against Seattle. Again, I still think that it will really come down to that all MLS matchup. I give RSL the edge over Seattle, mainly because RSL has been playing much better recently. They've been one of the hottest team in the league, and not to mention, not only they have done well on the road, they're starting to figure out their home form, and with them figuring out their home form and scoring goals, I mean that's gonna be one that I think RSL will have the edge over a Sounders team. That if the Sounders give up goals at will against RSL, it's pretty much over because we know that the Sounders team don't have a lot of attacking threat, and this is even when they start to get some of their players back healthy in this team. Then we go to Group C, and in Group C we have Leon, LA Galaxy, and the Vancouver Whitecaps. Leon in first place, the Galaxy in second, and I'm going to put Vancouver being in third place. So again, this is another group where I think the Liga MX team is going to finish top because Leon, another team that I think is going to consider to be one of the favorites to win this tournament. And why wouldn't you after you won the CONCACAF Champions League against LAFC in both of the legs in the final? No, well, actually, they didn't win the first leg. Well, actually, they did. They did win the first leg, and then they have also won the second leg. But again, this is going to all depend on that matchup between the Galaxy versus Vancouver. Now, I know the Whitecaps have just recently beat the Galaxy in that one, but if you minus the first 30 minutes of that game, I thought the Galaxy didn't play that bad in that one. I thought that they had their moment. I mean, it's unfortunate they found themselves 3-0 down and had a man sent off, but I do think that the Galaxy they will learn from their mistake. I mean, Greg Vanny has learned from his mistake after just getting absolutely dominated in that game, at least in the early part against Vanny Sartini's team. And while I have said that Vanny Sartini's team has played some brilliant brand of soccer, that's less so when you come to their road form. I mean, their road form has been absolutely abysmal this season. They just don't play that same kind of brand of soccer we've seen them playing at home compared to where they are on the road. Though you could also make the argument that recently the Galaxy has had their struggles against the Whitecaps, especially when they're playing at home. So yeah, that maybe be offset it. I think out of all of these all MLS matchup that could really determine who's move on, this might be one that could go either way. But I do feel like the Galaxy will have the edge over the Vancouver Whitecaps, especially with the way that there's been rumor that Julian Gresso could be moving on to the Columbus Crew, and if that's the case, I don't think they're gonna have Gresso in this team, and he means a lot to this Whitecaps team too, especially on the attack. Then we go to Group D, and this is also another group that I think could be the group of death because D obviously stands for the group of death, and this is a group you have Club America, St. Louis City, and Columbus Crew. Obviously, St. Louis, we know their story being an expansion team and pretty much off to the most surprising start, not only this season but probably in league history. Nobody thought that this expansion team would be at the top of the Western Conference up to this point, and then Columbus Crew, we know that they play some brilliant brand of soccer under Wilfred Nancy. And then you got Club America, which I don't really need too much explanation. So I will say that, I'm going to give the edge still to Club America, but I'm going to say St. Louis is going to finish second and Columbus is going to finish third. Now, again, Club America might be one of those teams that just because of its name's sake and the players that they had, it maybe brings some fear to these MLS opposition. But I think if there is a couple of MLS teams that can really go head to head against Club America and maybe win the game, it could be St. Louis and Columbus. And especially in terms of home field advantage, I know whenever you have Club America playing against an MLS team, you're going to be dominated by Club America fans. But I think if there is the most hardcore fans that will still show up in this one and make noise, it's got to be St. Louis and Columbus fan. I mean, there's a lot of hardcore Columbus and St. Louis fans, especially St. Louis City. I mean, I'm pretty sure if this game is at City Park between both of these teams, there's going to be a lot more pink than you will think than yellow that is going to be in the stands. But either way, I think that this could also go down to the matchup between an all MLS kind of matchup between St. Louis and Columbus. And even though this game is at Columbus, it's at Lower.com Field, and I know Columbus has done well this season when they're playing at home. They've only, I think, lost once this season at home. My concern with Columbus is the fact that they're playing against a St. Louis side that the style that St. Louis play is something that Columbus does not feel confident in terms of play. Like Wilfred Nancy, I've seen before where he's playing against teams that tends to like to press and tends to like to go quickly on the transition. They have really struggled. And a great example of that is the game against Nashville, especially on the road where they've been caught on the transition multiple times, and especially also playing out of the back. They've had some problems in terms of it, and when you play out of the back against St. Louis, you better make sure that you get it right because if you get it wrong, which a lot of team has done, they're going to capitalize. And I think St. Louis is going to continue the Cinderella story this season and move on to the next round out of Group D. Then we go to Group E, and this is a group featuring Minnesota, Chicago, and Puebla. So this is actually the first group where I'm actually not going to pick a Liga MX team that is moving on into the next round. I'm actually going to pick Minnesota to finish first, Chicago second, and Puebla is going to finish in third place. Now, I know the Loons this season have struggled at home. They have one of the fewest home wins this season with 2 wins. But when you look at some of these home games that they play, you can tell that some of these games they've just been simply unlucky. I mean, the expectancy goal is just over the roof. They probably leads the league in terms of the high of the most underperforming in terms of their expectancy goal, and I think they will finally break through. And especially in that all MLS matchup between them and the Chicago Fire. I know the Fire has been on fire, and again, no pun intended there, but I do think Minnesota does have the more talented team, and not to mention Minnesota has never lost to the Chicago Fire when they're played at Allianz Field, and I don't think that's going to be the same case in this one. And then, of course, looking at Puebla again, this is a team that we talk about all these good teams that so far in Liga MX. Puebla is definitely not one of those teams. They're kind of more of a bottom feeder team, a team that I think both of these MLS teams should easily dispatch them. So yeah, I think in the end, I think both of these MLS teams is gonna move on, and this again is the first time out of all the group that I predicted that a Liga MX team will not move on to the next round. Then we go to FC Cincinnati, Sporting KC, and Chivas. Now this is where I'm gonna start to make some bold prediction, and this, it's not a prediction video without me making a bold prediction. And I'm actually gonna say Chivas is not gonna make it. And I know this is gonna be insane. And I know if you're a Chivas fan and you're watching this video, you're probably thinking that you probably will be disliking this video and probably typing in the comment section of how dare you putting Chivas in third place, despite the fact that Chivas is currently leading the Apertura season, winning their first 3 games. Now, the reason why I think that is the case is that FC Cincinnati. There's a reason why they're the Supporter Shield leading team right now. This is a team that is able to find ways to win games, and in front of that hostile crowd at TQL Stadium, a stadium that they have not lost this season and have only drawn once this year. That stadium is an absolute fortress, and I know even though there's going to be Chivas fans that's going to be in the stands for that one, I'm pretty sure it's still going to be dominated mostly with FC Cincinnati fans, and they will go through. And then in the game between Sporting KC and Chivas, that guy called Alan Polito, I have a feeling he's going to be very motivated when he's playing against his former team. Especially this is one of the teams that actually want him back into this Chivas team, and I think he's gonna have something to prove. And not to mention Sporting KC, when they're on, they're definitely on. I think they'll definitely surprise people and maybe cause a bit of an upset. And also, Peter Vermes doesn't have the excuse the fact that we're not going to take this tournament seriously because we have other commitments that needs to do. They don't really have any other commitments because of the League Cup pausing the MLS schedule. So yeah, I know this is going to be a bit of a surprise and a bit of a bold prediction. I'm putting Cincinnati and Sporting KC moving on to the next round, and I'm thinking Chivas is going to finish bottom in the standing, despite the fact that didn't play very well so far, and also not to mention, I think they made it to the final last year, only to lose the final against Tigres, and then the guy that is coaching Chivas. He used to coach in MLS with the Chicago Fire. Remember Velko Panovich? Yeah, he's now the coach of Chivas. Like you wouldn't have not guessed that he would be. He's the guy that is now coaching Liga MX, and you would also not guess the fact that he's actually doing a good job. Which again, that's kind of the complete opposite when he was doing his time with the Chicago Fire. Then we go to Group G, and this is a group featuring Nashville, Toluca, and the Colorado Rapids. And again, this is one I'm gonna make another bold prediction. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say that Toluca could finish first because Toluca is a good team too. But I think Nashville will finish first. And I know Nashville has not been playing well lately, but in front of their home fans at Geodis Park, I think just like what I said about Cincinnati, TKL Stadium being a fortress, same goes with Geodis Park. I mean, this season it's been the complete opposite. It feels like Nashville finally found their great form at Geodis Park that was missing last season, and I think They'll had the edge out of this one, though. I still think Toluca will move on, and the Colorado Rapids. I mean, I know, as I mentioned before in the five big question, for all these bottom feeder team and for these teams that are in see you next season mode, which is the Rapids, are I'm pretty sure Rob Fraser will really take this tournament seriously. But at the end of the day, I do think that they probably won't have enough firepower to outlast the likes of Nashville and Toluca, and also not to mention this in this all MLS matchup when Nashville have to play against the Colorado Rapids. Yeah, unfortunately, that game is going to be at Geoda's Park. If that was at Dick's Sporting Park, maybe I'll give Colorado a chance. But that being said, they've only won one game so far at DSG this season. So, yeah, overall, I do think that they'll probably be finishing bottom. And again, they're probably one of the worst team coming into this Leeds Cup tournament. Then we go to Group H, and this is one of the rare group that only feature one MLS team and two Liga MX team. And I'm gonna say Alston is gonna finish first. Juarez is gonna finish second, and Mazatlan is going to finish in third place. I do think that Austin definitely have one of the easier group, though. Juarez this season has actually been playing pretty well. I mean, they actually have got themselves near the middle of the table after for the last couple of years they've been struggling. Speaking of struggling, that's been what Mazatlan has been. I mean, ever since they were a team that was relocated it to this city, they have been nothing but a disastrous class, and I think Austin should easily dispatch them. And not to mention, Los Verdes has started to play very well recently and started to look like the Austin team that we saw last season. I think that they're finishing first place in this one. And then this is kind of one of the rare times where I said a Liga MX kind of all Liga MX kind of battle would determine who move on, and that really depends in that game between Juarez and Mazatlan. And I think Juarez is probably going to get the better out of Mazatlan in that spot. Then we go to Group I, and this group feature Orlando City, Houston, and Atlético St. Louis. Let's say Orlando's going to finish first. Houston is going to finish second, and Atlético St. Louis finishing in third place. So Orlando, we know this is a very good team in terms of tournament play, going back to the MLS's back tournament, and I'm pretty sure Oscar Pereira, knowing the fact that he is very familiar facing against Liga MX team during his time with Tijuana, I think this, of course, would help him get an advantage. And not to mention, in terms of talent wise, Orlando City clearly is the more talented team out of all these three teams in the group. But then I say Houston is going to finish second. I think Houston, they will have the edge when they do play against an Atlético San Luis team that I think they have gone a little bit better this season. But this is also one of those teams that have been kind of been a bottom feeder, and even some have said that they're kind of like the feeder for the main Atletico team in Spain in Atletico Madrid. But yeah, I do think that Atletico de San Luis is probably the weakest team out of this one, and that I think both of these teams are probably happy the fact that they got a relatively weak Liga MX team in their group, and both of these MLS team is going to move on. And we go to Group H, and or actually not Group H. I'm sorry, I just went through Group H. We go to Group J, and this is the group that this is the one that there's going to be games that's going to be featuring. In fact, I think there's also going to be games that's going to feature Group I today as well. But this is a group that a lot of people are talking about because it's the group that Inter Miami is in alongside with Atlanta and Cruz Azul, and this is where I'm also going to make another bold prediction. I'm going to say Miami finished first. Yes, I am jumping in the Messi train. I am jumping in the hype that Miami is bringing in. I think this team has just completely rejuvenated itself. Now, I do still have question in terms of their defense, but Drake Calder will do his best in terms of keeping this team in games. So yeah, I think they're gonna finish first place. I mean, I'm pretty sure the league is gonna try their best in terms of making sure Miami is gonna move out into the knockout round because you can't simply have Messi come to Inter Miami and for them to lose their first two game and just get knocked out in the tournament. Like that's not gonna happen. You're going to see even some refereeing decision. I think is gonna be in favor of Inter Miami in this one. But after that, I say Atlanta is going to finish second and Cruz Azul going to finish in third place. This is not the same Cruz Azul team that we saw a couple of years ago that was considered one of the powerhouse in Liga MX. It's been a huge fall from grace that this Cruz Azul team has taken. And this season, I think it's kind of the same thing. They're not doing well in Liga MX. And I think Miami and Atlanta should have the better of each other. But also not to mention, in the all MLS matchup, if this was at Atlanta, I would maybe flip both where Miami and Atlanta is gonna be. But because this is at Drive Pink Stadium, and again, because of Lionel Messi and his company, the league is praying the fact that Miami will have a good showing, and I think they will. I think they're gonna finish first, followed by Atlanta United, and then Cruz Azul. And while everybody talk about the Miami and Cruz Azul game being the Messi debut, forget about Miami against Atlanta United. I mean, that's the Tata Martino derby, with Tata Martino facing against his former team, or you could even say the Joseph Martinez derby, with Joseph Martinez also facing against his former team. Then we go to Group K, and in Group K we have FC Dallas, Charlotte, and Necaxa. And I think this is probably the weakest group out of all of them. Like, if you want to talk about probably the group that is kind of a complete wild card and you don't know what's gonna happen, this is definitely one of those group, because neither of these teams have been doing very well. But in the end, I'm gonna say Dallas finished first. I'm actually gonna say Necaxa is going to finish second, and then I'm gonna say Charlotte, unfortunately, will miss out. As much as Dallas has had some problem in terms of goal scoring, the fact that they're playing at home is gonna give them the huge boost. They're a much better team when they're playing at home compared to when they're on the road, and even when they're still struggling to score goals. They have sometimes have players that found ways to score goals, and I think that's going to be the case. And I won't be surprised. This is also a group where there's could be not a lot of goals that could be in. I mean, if you're gonna watch like Elites Cup kind of group stage, probably stay away from these kind of games if you're expecting some entertainment. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of entertainment in this one. Nakaska, again, another team that hasn't really been relevant in MLS, or not MLS that is, but in Liga MX for a long time. But I think they'll able to pull through against a Charlotte team that, again, this is a team that is an absolute free fall right now in MLS. And I think because just simply because of that, they'll probably won't move on into the next round. But like I said, don't be surprised, they could do. I mean, I will say that just because they're in absolute free fall, this maybe could be an opportunity for them where they can forget about the free fall kind of form that they're in, and they can actually finish in first place too. Again, this is a group that I think it's really tough to predict, because neither of these teams are very good. It can go either way, and it could be a lot of low scoring game that could go either way in this group. Then we go to Group L, and we have the Philadelphia Union, Tijuana, and Querétaro. And again, the Union alongside with Austin, one of those MLS team that had two Liga MX team in their group. And I would say both of these teams are very lucky they have those team, because neither of those two Liga MX team has done well. I think the Union probably have the even the more easier group with Tijuana and Querétaro, two teams that are not very good in Liga MX. So it's no surprise I'm gonna put Union in first, Tijuana in second, and Querétaro in third place. Again, I think the Union should easily win both of these matchups. They have been proven that they've been able to beat Liga MX opponent, the Union, going back to their days in the CONCACAF Champions League. So yeah, I think they'll have enough to finish top group, and then it's just a battle between Tijuana and Querétaro, and I do give the edge for Tijuana in that one over Querétaro. Then we go to Group M, and we have Montreal, Pumas, and DC United. I'm gonna say Montreal's gonna finish first, followed by Pumas, and I'm gonna say DC United. Unfortunately, Wayne Rooney's team is gonna finish dead last. Again, Montreal, with the way that, because they have both of these games at South Saputo, and the fact that they've been very good when they're playing at South Saputo, I think that will give them the edge in terms of beating both Pumas and DC United. And not to mention, DC is just kind of a big mystery team. You just never know how they do. I mean, that's why I kind of picked them just finish dead last too, because I will say that at least at times they have been more on the inconsistent bad side than they are on the inconsistent good side, even though I don't know if that's actually a word. But for Pumas, I mean, I know this is not the same Pumas that went to the CONCACAF Champions League final against Seattle. They actually have gotten a lot worse and been kind of a bottom feeder since that time when they went to the CCL final against the Sounders. But it's still Pumas. I think this is a team that will still they are known to have some crazy comebacks, and a team that known to do well in tournament, and I think they'll do enough to make it in second place. Then we go to Group N, and this is a group featuring Atlas, NYCFC, and Toronto. I'm gonna say Atlas is gonna finish first. NYCFC finishing in second, and I'm gonna say TFC is gonna finish in third place. So this is a group where this is also one of the few group where I would say that the Liga MX team clearly have their edge over MLS team because for NYCFC, unless if they can get their new number 9 in time ready for this Leagues Cup tournament, there could be a lot of problem for them because they just don't have a reliable goal scorer on the team, and now there's rumor that Gabby Pereira might be leaving this team during the summer transfer window. And then, of course, for TFC, not much really need to explain about them. They, alongside with Colorado, are kind of in see you next season bowl. But again, like I said about Colorado, this is a good chance for them for a clean slate where it's almost like they're resetting the season and hope that maybe they can, of course, get it right. But again, at last, even though they haven't been a team that won back-to-back Liga MX title, I think they're starting to be much better, especially this season. And I do think that at last also want to have some revenge against NYCFC after winning the Campeones Cup a couple of years ago. And I think this can also all determined in the game between NYCFC and TFC, which, by the way, that game is going to be at Red Bull Arena, which is bad news for NYCFC because that stadium, playing their rivals' stadium, not only is embarrassing, but also it's been a house of horror. They always tends to struggle when they're playing at Red Bull Arena when they're making that as a home field advantage. But surely I think they should have enough against a TFC team that are just not doing great whatsoever this season. So it's been an absolute train wreck of a season for them. Then we go to Group O. This is the final group that I'm gonna predict. We got New England, the New York Red Bulls, in this group, and we also have Atletico St. Louis in this group. Actually, wait a minute. I am sorry, but I think I got this one wrong because I just put Atletico St. Louis twice here. Yeah, I must have got this one wrong. Let me look at the Leagues Cup standing. And now people in the comment section is going to say why Houston or did I get this one wrong? Yeah, I got this one wrong. Oh my god. This is embarrassing. So I've said Orlando, Houston, and Atletico San Luis in that one. Forgot Santos was supposed to be in that group, and this is the group that Atletico San Luis is gonna go. So let me redo this. Let me just redo this. I know there's gonna be people in the comment section that's gonna be basically saying that I got this one absolutely wrong. But I'll start with Group O. I think New England's gonna finish first. The Red Bulls finished second, and I think Atletico San Luis still. I think they're going to finish dead last. I mean, the Revs are clearly the favorites coming into this one, though. I do think the Red Bulls will finish in second place. I mean, I know they haven't been doing very well, and especially in tournament play, they always have that so metro moment happen. But I think they'll do enough against an Atletico San Luis team that, again, even though they've been doing much better this season, I don't think this is going to be a team that neither of these two MLS teams is gonna fear. But now going back to group let's see, Group I that is, and this is where I made the mistake of putting Atletico San Luis there. So I'm gonna say this is a tough one. I'm gonna say Orlando first. I'm gonna say Santos second, and then I'll put Houston in third place. So yeah, before I said Houston was gonna make it, but now I'm gonna say they're not gonna make it because Santos Laguna. I know they're not a team that is as good as what we've seen previously, but this has always been a team that I think has been kind of a killer for MLS team. They've always struggled against this team, no matter when they're doing well or they're not doing well. So yeah, I think because of that they'll definitely finish second. But I still do think that Orlando is the more talented team out of all three of these teams. And Oscar Pereira would want to make amends for what happened earlier this season, where they really go toe to toe against Tigres in that CCL kind of matchup, and I think they're going to do the same thing against Santos in this one. So yeah, again, I do apologize. By that I got that one completely wrong there, but either way, that is pretty much it in terms of my prediction. And like I said, let me know in the comments below where you think of where I put your team, and if I put your team not in a good place, let me know in the comments below as always. And just a reminder, this is just my opinion, and I guarantee you that by the time the group stage game is over, most of these prediction is probably going to be wrong. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.